fire was red, it flaming spread, the trees like torches
Blazed with life. Sorry, that song, it really gets me, you know? So, The Hobbit. I finally saw it yesterday. And before I talk about what I thought of the movie, remember on August 5th of 2012 when I had this to say about the movie? Because let me tell you, if I had to sit through watching Bilbo trying to get out of the Shire for 3 hours, then count me out. Well, I was wrong. Bilbo was only in the Shire for about 28 minutes, give or less. But enough about that. What do I think of the movie? 2.5 stars. I'm sorry, but the fact that this movie is banking on the fact that we're going to see the next two parts really bugged me, mainly because they intentionally left out certain plot elements that, okay, I don't know if they left them out, but they didn't really explain certain plot elements very well, just so we'll see the next two films, so we'll know what those plot elements were about, such as the mysterious necromancer that they give a very confusing introduction to. And also, the ending cliffhangers were kind of underwhelming for the most part. Like when we see the dragon for the first time, he doesn't really give off that much of an intimidating presence for the most part. It's not like, well, think back to the Lord of the Rings, when the Two Towers and the Fellowship of the Ring ended. You had I at least had a sense that the danger was only going to keep growing. With this movie, I did not really. And also, it seems like they're half finished with their journey, but there's still two more movies to go. So I wonder how they're gonna stretch that out. I didn't read the book, so I guess I didn't read the book, which is very short, by the way, about 310 pages. So I'm gonna have to wait and see what's gonna come next. And the climax, while having one or two nice references to the climax of Return of the King, was also underwhelming because it just felt like another portion of the film, not like an actual climax. It's as if Peter Jackson filmed the entire thing all at once and then decided to split it up at certain intervals, which he probably did. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk about the main character, Bilbo Baggins. He is by far the best character in the film, and he should be since, as I just said, he's the main character. He's awkward, but he has a right to be since hobbits aren't known for going on big adventures. But he will fight if he has to, but not in a way that it seems like he's gotten magical combat prowess out of nowhere. He's still very clumsy with his sword, and his only real kill in the movie is kind of out of luck because he just happens to thrust his sword at the exact moment that whatever that creature is charges at him. He's a pretty realistic hero for the most part, and he has some nice character development, and is probably the only real comedic character that's handled well, in my opinion. Gandalf has some good comedic moments as well, but Bilbo is the primary comedic relief in this movie. Aside from the dwarves, oh my gosh, the dwarves. Okay, 1 second on the dwarves. Where Bilbo is concerned, well, he's not exactly Frodo-esque, but actually, then again, he's done more than Frodo's. He actually did a lot more in this movie than Frodo did in pretty much all the Lord of the Rings films combined. Well, action-wise, I mean, Frodo didn't really get into that many fight sequences, from my knowledge. But all in all, I like Bilbo. And I think my favorite scene with him was probably when he was trying to accommodate the dwarves suddenly pilfering his kitchen of all its food and whatnot, because he didn't know the dwarves thought they were expected. Well, they were expected, but he didn't know that they were expected. And speaking of the dwarves, yeah, I really didn't like them for the most part. I can't remember any of their names. I can remember some of their names, but I can't put any of those names to a face, with the exception of Thorin. He is the only dwarf that I liked in this film because he's the only one that isn't annoying. The dwarves were just very bad comic relief, with a few exceptions here or there, such as that opening sequence with them and Bilbo. Besides that, they are probably more annoying than Jar Jar Binks. Oh yeah, I went there. They are okay. Now I will say that they are pretty good when it comes to combat sequences, and they do give some pretty good, good and thrilling fight sequences, especially during the movie's climax, shall we say. Now, aside from them, we also have Gandalf leading the company to the Lonely Mountain. He is pretty much the same as he was in the other movies. Not that that's a bad thing. It's still an enjoyable performance, especially his first appearance with Bilbo when Bilbo tells him good morning and Gandalf says good morning how, as in this morning is good or we feel good this morning. It's actually a pretty funny exchange. You have to really see it in order to understand. But aside from that, it's nothing really different. It's okay. I like it for the most part. But I think the one character that probably is the most, you can really see a big difference between the original films and this film is Gollum. I actually felt a tad sorry for him in this movie. In this film, we get an even, well, my recollection of the original trilogy is a little spotty, but I think, well, from what I can recall, we seem to get a better sort of understanding of just how fragile and broken his personality is in this film. He constantly argues with himself. He constantly tells himself to shut up. And that moment when Bilbo is about to decapitate him and Smeagol or Gollum can't see him at first, you kind of see a look of fear on his face. And I kind of actually felt sorry for him because going off of this movie, all we know about Gollum is that he's just a lonely recluse whose only company is himself and a mysterious ring. So of course we all realize that he's just a psychotic nutbag in Lord of the Rings. But in this movie, you kind of feel for him for the most part. But I think my primary gripe with this movie is its antagonists. The trolls, oh my gosh. You remember the trolls from Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone? Shut up, Quirrell! If you took that troll's intelligence, cut it in half, and threw it into a blender, that is the level of intelligence the trolls in this movie display. They are that dumb. They are not intimidating. They are not funny. Yeah, I know they're played up for laughs, but those laughs are... They're worse than the laughs the dwarves are supposed to get out, okay? That's how bad they are. Why couldn't the orcs have been the primary bad guys throughout the entire film? I actually liked them. They were intimidating for the most part. Maybe not as intimidating as they were in Lord of the Rings. But heck, they were more intimidating than the trolls. Anything can be more intimidating than those trolls. But in spite of all of that, if you're a hardcore fan of Lord of the Rings, I say go give this movie a watch. If not, I say watch it on HBO or DVD. It has some pretty good music, such as the song Misty Mountain, which replaces the theme from Lord of the Rings. And it also has some very thrilling fight sequences. And every now and then the comedy can be good, such as, well, when Bilbo was involved. Alright, well, I will see you guys later.
We're outnumbered.
By a lot.
I won't let them hurt my family.
In the middle of the earth, in the land of Shire, lives a brave little hobbit whom we all admire. With his long wooden pipe, fuzzy woolly toes, he lives in a hobbit hole and everybody knows him. Bilbo, Bilbo Baggins.